to the channel, guys. It is a beautiful mid-July day here on the property. Low humidity, moderate temperatures. It's gorgeous to be outside. Finally a nice stretch of weather here where I can get some stuff done and be productive. So this morning, as you guys saw, we went ahead and took all my firewood out of this old Shelter Logic tarp barn, threw it in a pile just a little ways away, just temporarily, as we move this Shelter Logic tarp barn out of here. What we're doing this week and next weekend is we are finishing this wood yard project that the E26 is in. Back in April, we went and cleared this entire area, cut some big trees down, put a good pad of stone, and then built that Shelter Logic metal structure for the E26 to sit in, and I didn't finish it. I ran out of time, didn't have enough stone, and it served its purpose for the meantime. But now I want to finish that project, get this wood yard up and running so we can store firewood out here, cut firewood, and anything else I need to do with material or larger pieces of equipment or attachments, I have the space to do that. So that's the plan for this weekend, and to next weekend to finish this area and get it all set. So today's project is just going to be to clear this out, level it, and prep it for next week's stone delivery, and then next week we will finish it off. Pretty easy. just like that, the E26 did a fantastic job. Removed those 2 stumps after we cut those trees down. I graded it out a little bit with the blade in front of the E26 in float mode. Does a great job and got it mostly level and graded how I like it. Not need to be perfect on this, but close enough. Now, if you can't tell, it's not the same day, it's not the next day. It's about a month after I started this project and started filming it. My schedule is a little over the place, and I have other projects you can see behind me that are kind of going with the IBC tote and then some pallets back there I'll touch on a little bit later in the video. So today we got to finish this. I need the extra space, I need the extra room out here, and now I have the stone. We're gonna finish this. So I have some driveway fabric, gonna lay that down in the space and then start moving stone back out here to get this done. All right, got all the filter fabric or the driveway fabric laid down, and I actually ran out of the original fabric I was using, which is all this here. I ran out of that, that's all I had, and I had to find more. Luckily I had the rest of this with the green stripe in it laying around the house from another project I had years ago, and it was just enough to finish the space I wanted to do. Now that I look at this, I hope 7 ton is enough stone. It should be enough stone, but I'm a little nervous that it's not going to be enough, so we'll have to see how it goes. But overall, I'm very happy with the layout of this and how this is going to look when it's all finished. So let's move some stone back here. Well, after about a dozen trips back and forth with the tractor full of stone, we have finally finished the stone base for the woodyard, and it looks so much better than it did before. With all the filter fabric down, the driveway fabric, we started all the way in the back there by the IBC tote, worked our way out, blended the corner in, the edge in with the old stone, new stone meet. It looks so much better. Taper the edge over here, put some stone in there, kind of filled a little divot in. And then my favorite part is this new driveway we made in and out here off of our main trail system. This is where that old Shelter Logic tarp style barn sat, removed that. And now this is a nice way in and out of the woodyard. So we're just about done here. We have one or two more things to do. I'm going to move the Ultratech trailer and a bunch of rounds of wood. I got to split next weekend out of there. And we're going to bring back the Shelter Logic, that tarp canvas barn. I don't want to throw it away. It still works. It still serves a purpose. It keeps things out of the weather. So we're going to bring that in there and put that behind the Aero metal carport where the E26 sits. Not the most sightly thing in the world to look at, but it's going to serve a purpose and keep stuff out of the weather for when I put stuff in there. So let's do that and call this project done. All right, change of plans. So we're not gonna move the Shelter Logic tarp barn out here right now. I'm just not wanting to move all these rounds for a third time it would be. That's just inefficient to me, and I'm gonna break my back for really no reason just to move them out of the way. So what we're gonna do is leave everything status quo, just do a little bit of general cleanup back here and call this project done for today. We will move the Shelter Logic tarp barn out here at some point, but I have to get these rounds behind me split and stacked along with probably half a dozen firewood poles from the trees we cut down to make this woodyard back in April. Get those put into rounds and then also split. I want to borrow my buddy's wood splitter probably next weekend, I would say, to get that stuff split and seasoned. And once that's done, then we'll move the Shelter Logic over here and finalize that. But it's not going to stop anything, not going to slow us down any other projects. It's not in the way. And I think today's goal has been achieved. We are done up here. We're called done. So check it off the list. We're done up here for now. Little things to do as we just kind of figure out flow back here for when we process firewood and how we're going to do that in the near future. Now I'm going to show you guys something I'm working on. I'll tease you for next week's video and see if you can tell me what it is. Any idea what I'm working on here? I mentioned it in one of my earlier videos this year. So go back and see if you can find out what I'm talking about. Leave your suggestions or your thoughts in the comments below.